And if we ask the stars what they mean, what would they say back to us? Welcome! You want to go on a card journey today? Give me some of your time, and I'll give you some of your story. Well, let's see what the cards say.
Hey there, Pisces. Welcome to Koi Plays Tarot. My name is Koi, and I'm going to be your tarot card reader for today. As a set of quick announcements, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification button. That way, when uploads are made, you can see what the stars are trying to say to you. Also, if interested, individual reads are up and open. Either message or email me directly. Link is on main, and we'll set it up, okay? So, Pisces, what are we looking at this round of reads? This is going to be your one-to-one reads for the month of September. One-to-one is the style of reading that I do with person A over here, person B over here, and examining all the mix-up that's happening in between. Right. As a caveat to this style of read, two main things. The first, because it tends to get so intricately involved between both parties, it tends to earn the moniker, this style of reading, of being a love reading. I hesitate to call that. It's not always lovely, right? We talk about everything at my table. I think I'm a good enough tarot card reader to spot where things are going. And so I can talk about real issues, right? I don't always guarantee rainbows and sunshine. That's the first. The second, it ain't always got to be about love. I promise you, there's so much more that the cards can do. It could be a family member, friend, coworker, somebody you just met. Just what's going on in between these two parties, and why is this relationship in particular prevalent? That's it. So it's preamble to the read, Pisces. Say what resonates, leave what doesn't, but don't always be so willing to reverse. Sorry, it's something I caught in my throat. Don't always be so willing to reverse. At times when it gets difficult, understand that I, as your tarot card reader, I'm not here to misguide you or mislead you. Trust me, I work with 12 signs every round of reads. I do not have the time to lie to any of them. Okay? Instead, we lay our cards out on the table. And good or bad, come rain or sunshine, we talk about it because at the end of the day, tarot is a conversation, just an energetic one. So follow along with me in your one-to-one read today, Pisces. And yeah, let's see what the cards say. You're going to be over here. First is going to be over here. So those cards we need to see, please, from Piscean Collective. The laws of the fish. What's going on between them and their person? Okay, on your end. Okay, I mean, it's not necessarily bad, it's just that which was a little bit more. Page of Wands, okay. Maintaining a base level of optimism, kind of saying, okay, well, I guess, right, it's not a no, but it's a very small flame lit on their end. Justice, card Libra. Can things actually be equitable between you two? I don't know why you feel so diminished around this, Pisces, and that's the thing. I think it's like I'm getting the vibe of a contract-based agreement. Again, justice is the card of legality and equity, but there's just some arrangement where on paper it would be even in theory. In practice, right? And I think that's where some of your hesitation is coming in. Either you can only be one of two parties here, Pisces. Either you're saying that you're afraid if you can, live up to the expectations of this other person, or that I think this might have the potential to go absolutely horrible, right? And oddly enough, you're still having at least a base level of optimism, that little light of mine, right? We're having that base level of optimism saying, okay, well, I don't want to overreact. Let me hear it out. So you're open to the idea. Now what? Okay. Now that we've got two parties on the board, show us fronts and backs in this read. Fronts and backs meaning backs was left unsaid, unknown and to the wayside. Fronts was being most directly communicated and energetically exchanged. Show us the cards that we need to see, please. Between Pisces and their person, what's going on? Two of Pentacles. In theory, it is workable. In practice, you don't know if it can be done. Yeah, I had a feeling. Okay, so where are they trying to convince you up on their end? That's more interesting. Okay. At least that's the right approach they're having to it. To the Nine of Swords, is just lay out all the worries and the angst from the get-go. So we're talking about the inequity from the jump. On the other side, Judgment. How do we come to an agreement here? Right. The reality of the situation where it stands, Pisces, again, good in theory, but what about practice? And I think, yeah, let's just have that be, because it's already showing signs across the read. Good in theory, but practice. And I think that's, again, the biggest issue going on right now is that on your end, you're communicating, yeah, I want to be enthusiastic and excited about this. I know that if we look over the plan or whatever we talked about before, that yes, it is doable. But right now, I am not thoroughly convinced that this won't end horribly. And if you're still on the fence about it, Pisces, either you do or you don't, right? The Eight of Swords always represents somebody trapped in an open air cage of swords. Can they climb out? Yes. Might they scratch or even slice themselves on the way out? Also a possibility. In both scenarios, then the question becomes, are you going to climb out or not? Right? The obvious answer is the one that we do not like. And here you're saying, if you're optimistic about it, you either do or you don't. And if you don't, you have your reasons. And if you do, you're willing to try. That's just where it's at. On their end, they're trying to say, yeah, oh no, you have a reason to be afraid, right? They are trying to be fair in that way. And I do commend them at least for that, because normally people don't start off with, yeah, you see this contract, it's blatantly unfair and it has the potential to just blow up in your face, right? Normally people don't start off like that, but this person is brutally honest and you got to give it to them. You know, credit where credit is due. They started with the hard part first. Now, Judgment on their end, it's about making things right, because I think that was the intent of why they approached you with this. Now, is it actually doable, right? We said the hard part out loud. This person was very upfront and honest with you, Pisces. Now what? And I think they're trying to manage that as well. And it's not that they don't want to hurt your feelings. It's rather, how can I come to you in a fair and equitable manner and say, look, we both have our hesitations. What is the bigger thing that we can accomplish here, right? So points for effort and points for honesty. Reveal individual positions. Show us the cards we need to see, please. Between Pisces and their person. Let's read. Over here, Page of Cups. Okay. Again, small but still there, presence of gratitude. So you're trying to believe in it. I'm looking, it's not that you think it's total BS, Pisces, it's just the facts are the facts. So if you're saying that it's good, you gotta make a choice. Is it worth it? And if so, then you know what you gotta do. And if not, you know why you're walking away. But the idea we're pretending we don't know where we stand, that's not the issue. The actual issue is, will we go through with it and come win, lose, or draw, hey, we made our decision, or will we walk away, even if we thought it was a possibility? Sometimes it is that simple. On their end, Seven of Cups, where you see lack, they see possibility. Almost like an ideological difference here, but hey, you have your reasons to be apprehensive, and they talked about the apprehension the moment they started talking. So again, points for honesty. It's just where it's at underneath it all. Ten of Pentacles, the foundation of something built for the long run. Here, and again, I think this represents a lot of potential for you, Pisces, but there's also a cost, and you really got to decide, is that cost actually worth it? Because if it's not, then, hey, it doesn't matter how much potential is dangled in your face, you're not going to bite. This fish ain't biting. Okay? So now that we have two parties on the board, both looking at each other, one towards the other, one to one, let's look at what's happening down the middle. So those cards I need to see, please. What's going on between Pisces and their person in this read? What is shared down the middle between Pisces and their person in this read? Okay, Empress, right? And I don't think I'm reading that necessarily as a loving partner. It could be, but that's not the entire point here. The best of us has the potential to come out, but that requires work, consistency, effort. Like, if it is there, this has the potential to be so much more than it is right now, way more than just an idea. How do we get there? Six of Pentacles, everyday investment. This will require a lot of work, a lot of consistency, and no take backsies. What are we doing? Nine of Swords. Will we or won't we? The intent to act. You gotta give your decision, right? They laid it out the best way they could. What is your choice, Pisces? That is the bigger thing right now, because both the parties are realizing this is all good in theory. Now, what about practice? Okay. The World. Okay. And one chapter must end for another to begin. That is the most definitive card within the tarot deck. It's the highest even of the majors, because there's really no room for budging there. One chapter ends, another chapter begins. What are we going to do with this opportunity, this contract, this offer, whatever that is for you, Pisces? What's the decision? Because that's going to open up different branching pathways. But if we don't make that decision or we walk away, so too, this is opportunity. Your call. Both of you are kind of waiting for each other right now. And last, the Sun. Okay, we want it to be the best that we've ever had. Here, the Sun representing, happiness, sunshine, warmth, and all the good things that could happen. We won't know until we get there. But how will we get there? It comes with choice. Okay, underneath it all, Six of Swords. We're taking action, moving forward or moving on. Either way, we're in motion. Okay. Last, define the major arcana straight across the table. As we move towards resolution for Pisces in this read, we will start with this one, Justice, Spark Libra. Why so? What contract or offering is being made towards Pisces? Let's move forward. Ten of Cups. That maybe this offer comes once in a lifetime. That maybe things are happening the way they should for a reason. Are you willing to lead, Pisces? I can only do what I can. And I laid out everything the best that I could. What do you think? Okay, to Judgment. High Priestess. They know what they see in you, and you know what you see of this. What decision are we going to make? At the end of the day, all of this becomes activated once a choice is made, or it completely falls to the wayside when a choice is made. Either scenario requires a choice to be made. What were you going to do with it, Pisces? That's the question. To the Empress. Six of Cups. Okay. Valuing the opinion and the uniqueness of this relationship. Both of you mean something to each other. Not necessarily going to call it intimate partner. Because again, I'm not necessarily seeing any of that dynamic here. But this person is really waiting to see, Pisces, what do you think about this? And where are we going next? To the World. Justice, again, goes right back to this contract or this offering. This could be the deal of a lifetime, but it all depends. What are you willing to do, Pisces? What are we going to do? Decisions. And last, to the Sun, Queen of Cups. The best of us comes out. Are we going to allow it to shine? Okay. Resolution, the Four of Swords. Relax, recalibrate, recuperate, then reevaluate. What are we doing here? And how do we make it right? King of Pentacles, do you know the right investment? Do you know what it is to do? Your choice, Pisces. underneath it all, the Empress. Here, I'm not, again, not reading that as an intimate partner. The best of me, the potential, everything that I have laying dormant within could happen if I take this chance. Are we going to take that chance? Because change requires choice. Okay. So here's what I got in this read for you today, Pisces. I am looking at somebody who they have somebody weighing on them to make a decision around a contract, or offer, a deal, or some potential new journey, right? This person is in your corner. They laid out the good, the bad, and the ugly with you. They were very straightforward about it, and they laid it all out. You can even read it on the dotted line. They're waiting for your response. On your end, you see the good and you see the bad. And it's not that, oh, there's too much anxiety or I don't know what to do. It's that at the end of the day, you got to decide what you really want. Do you see the potential in this? Do you really want this? I know you talked about it before. What do you feel about it? Is now the right time? Because sometimes these offers don't come again. You really got to ask yourself, Pisces, what choice am I going to make? Because the harmony and everything that's going together right now is happening for a reason. This person's waiting on your answer. When you're going to call them back. That's all I got in your read today, Pisces. Hope this conversation helped. And yeah, consider this offer. And more than the ups and downs of it, consider the potential of everything. And move from there. I'll see you around, okay? Take care.